From London, England, where the Queen lives.
Recorded live from an underground bunker and packaged into an MP3 with a pretty little picture. Helping to kickstart your day with the motivation and inspiration you need 365 days a year. This is the Learn, Develop, Live podcast. And this is your host, Chris Jaggs.
Good morning. My name is Chris Jaggs, host, producer, CEO of the show, and the creator of the Learn, Develop, Live method. Helping you identify a pain or an issue, developing a habit to eliminate that pain, and then living your life on a higher level. I mean, who doesn't want that, right? So, how are you today? What's new in the big wide world for you? How's your plan for world domination going, by the way? I always love to hear a good plan. They're the big ones for success, of course. For the episode, it's slightly inspired from a quote I heard from the latest Jumanji film. Jumanji, the next level. The quote was about getting old, and when you think about it, so many people do moan about getting old, myself included. It's something that happens naturally, but sadly not to everyone. The basis of this quote, without giving too much away about the film, the grandpa, played by Danny DeVito, is continuously moaning about how getting old isn't fun, but the penny drops towards the end, and he sees that basically getting old is a privilege that not everyone gets. And that got me thinking about putting together an episode based on just that. Before we get into it, you know I appreciate a review. So over on Apple Podcasts, there have been another 2 reviews, and they read something like this. 5 stars, short and sweet, and a whole dose of motivational content. Thank you to, a great name, Does Not Matter 123 from the UK. And over from the US, we have Xcrona 1800, who said, uplifting and encouraging. This podcast is entertaining and can brighten your day. Thank you muchly to you both. I always appreciate the support, and if you'd like to send a review in yourself, if you haven't already, please do. And also let me know, because I don't always get told when they get sent over. And I'll give you a shout out in a future show. Now, can we have the usual drop, and let's get this going.
Do you need some advice? Have you lost your mojo? Do you need some help with a problem? You can email Chris at learndeveloplive.com. And let's smash it together. The elevator to success is out of order, so you're going to have to climb the stairs, one step at a time. It's the Learn, Develop, Live podcast.
Welcome back. Now, I know the title of the episode may seem a little bit strong, but hear me out on this one. As I said before, it's inspired by this quote, which has a few different versions of it, but basically getting old is a privilege that not everyone gets. And this is so true. If you've experienced the loss of a loved one, a lot earlier than what you may have expected, it rings true. Not everyone will get to grow old, become more wrinkly and struggle to get out of the chair just to go for a wee. So if right now, you're feeling the strain, feeling a bit of pain as you start to get older, yes, it is an inconvenience, or it's stopping you from doing maybe what you used to do instantly, but, and I know I love to add a but to these things, some of these things, so many people in the world won't be able to experience, as they are sadly no longer with us. Now, this is a motivational podcast, we know that already. And while the last part was a reminder that we shouldn't take what we have for granted, we all do it, including myself, but unless you've been given 90 days to live, the issue you have right now might be a problem that the next person would love to have, if their one was worse. Did you get stuck in traffic earlier? Well, the reason you got stuck in traffic may have been that someone actually had a really bad accident and is currently having life-saving surgery. Is that a bit extreme? Well, maybe. But sometimes you really have to go into exactly what other people are experiencing to make you realise that the issue you have isn't that bad. You could measure it against the question, will this problem matter in 5 years? 95% of the problems won't. It's likely you won't even remember this in 5 years. You see what I mean? The main point of the episode, As the title says, don't die until you're dead. And if you haven't worked that out yet, it means don't just sit around and let life pass you by. Do something meaningful with your life. Volunteer work. Even just smiling at someone while you take a walk. It's meaningful. Explore the world around you. Breathe it in and enjoy every second of it. If all you do is sit around in a slump and do nothing but take up space, well, you might as well be dead already. There is a well-known quote, people die at 25, but don't get buried until they're 75. I'm sure you get the meaning, yeah? The goal for so many is to just survive. For many, this is a daily achievement. Well done. But how can anyone really want that? When you have other people who are totally going after their goal. It is to die young as late as possible. Life becomes exactly what we make it. So based on thousands of years of history, it's safe to say that we're all going to die. We almost never know exactly when or where, but death is inevitable. You kind of don't need a study to know that, do you? So with knowing that death will happen at some point, does anyone have any idea about what we can control? Yes, we can control how we live. Too many people I know walk through life like they're walking on eggshells. They're scared to make some waves, scared to fail. We often worry about stress and failure, but do you realise that 98% of what you worry about will never come? It will never happen. Never ever. That way of thinking isn't living. It's just existing. It's just being there and making up the numbers. And we have spoken many times before about failure, and it's a good thing. Possibly one of the greatest things that can actually happen to us. It teaches us what not to do. It teaches us what we can do in the future and gets us one step closer to achieving those goals that we've been dreaming about. What with that famous quote, from Thomas Edison, he failed many times to create the light bulb. And he said, "I have not failed. I found 10,000 ways that won't work." To put that in perspective, I found 3 ways to how to not make an omelette, but I got there in the end. Now, every single person who has succeeded has failed much more than they've won. They succeed because they know that the secret isn't how you start, it's how you finish. They know it's okay to fail, but it's not okay to quit. And you are only ever finished when you do quit. Some people I see start failing early in life, or at least early in their career. The problem is they accept that failure and just quit trying. They're physically alive, where they're breathing and there's a heartbeat, but professionally and mentally, they're dead. Even young professionals who are 25 to 30 years old, they can still get their chip on their shoulder and they basically give up in their dream because they're too scared to fail or fail again. They're stuck in what you could be called as the corporate world, or just become so comfortable. They're just so happy doing what they're doing, just to fit in rather than stand up. Now, the other quote, everyone is born an original, but are happy to become a copy. What about you? What about you there? Are you a copy? Do you like to just sit there in the shadows while the others chase their dreams? The question to that is, why? As morbid as this may sound, giving up at the age of 25 but not getting buried until 75 years old is just a different way of dying, because they never truly live. It's a death of, say, 18,000 unfulfilling days. That is the total number of days, roughly, in the years between the age of 25 and 75. Could you imagine 18,000 days of waking up lifeless? These people, they give up too soon. For anyone who is listening to this, no matter how old you are now, don't give up. Don't let failure keep you from getting back up, dusting yourself off and trying again. What you are doing day in and day out is what you're willing to die for. Meaning that at the end of your life, what you've accomplished, created or experienced, or didn't, is what you chose to die for. It is the meaning of life. It is your legacy. Could you imagine if your legacy was something like, well, they were broke, but they were so good at Candy Crush. Or your last thoughts to be, I wish I'd travelled more. I wish I'd written that book. I wish I'd started that business. I wish I had, insert your biggest regret. Or do you want your legacy to be about how you put a dent in the universe, how you made an impact, caused some waves, created something, how you make a difference, how you lived up to your true potential. There's plenty of it there. Not all of us are going to be or want to be celebrities, rock stars, business geniuses and leaders of world change, but we all have the ability to live up to the version of greatness, your version of greatness, to make a difference in our family, community, environment, to create life that gives us meaning, to live our gift. It's your time to step up, to live your greatness, to become your highest self, to reach your potential. Nobody's going to do it for you. First, you have to make a choice to be great. You have to summon the will. You have to reflect and discover your awesomeness, and you've got loads of it. Did you know that? You have to dig deep to develop your talents, and you have to muster the courage to live life by your standards and not down to others. And you must stay the course until you cross the finish line. At the same time, when you find that success, don't let it go to your head. Don't go striving for more and better success. The struggles, the failures, the successes you have today are forming the strength and knowledge you need for the future. You're going to die for something. Die for greatness. But first, make your life something worth living for. Every single one of us was given a gift. Many times, failure happens because you're not yet discovered your gift. Continue striving. Continue trying. Never give up and don't die until you're dead. Now, despite the subject, I hope it wasn't all doom and gloom. I really hope it's given you a bit of a kickstart and maybe you're just missing that. You are destined for greatness, but you can only get it going by yourself. And once it's up and running, you'll see. If you have got it started, keep going. You're making yourself and the people around you very proud. As always, ldlcool.com. That's where you can book your free 30-minute call and we can discuss how we can continue and make your life even better. We can talk about anything you want, any issue you have. We'll identify it, we'll build something, and then you live your life on a higher level. Now, I hope to see you on the call, but for this episode, I will see you in the next one.
Goodbye.
What? It's over already?
All over.
Thank you for listening to the Learn, Develop, Live podcast. I hope you feel as warm, motivated, and fuzzy inside as I do. You can connect with Chris at LearnDevelopLive.com or on Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter.
I won't say goodbye. I'll just say until we meet again.
Until next time, join the motivation.